What's up, CW fans? I have a really cool video for you today. If you remember when I was at Dayton, or a lot of people call it Hamvention, but all the big time DXs just call it Dayton, even though it's not in Dayton anymore. I was with a young man named Aaron, and he makes these. These are the his company is called Modern Morse, and this is called the Nameless CW Paddle. And I have one finally, so I'm pretty excited about checking it out. I want to do a total video on this. I think that video that I did in Dayton, it wound up getting a ton of likes. There was a lot of interest in it. And I'll have a little bit of trivia for you on this paddle as well as we jump into checking it out. So I'm pretty excited about really digging into the nuts and bolts of this paddle. It's super cool. It's one of my favorites, and yeah, let's see what we got. So I'm really excited about this CW paddle. Like I said, when I was at Dayton, I met Aaron. Actually, I think I might have even met Aaron the year before when he had like his prototype. But anyways, we were kind of messing around. We had met each other, and he let me play around with his prototype. And if you saw me at the Super Suite, I had this thing with my belt clip on it, and I was doing Morse code as I was walking around. Unfortunately, the speaker on this thing is really horrible, so I'm gonna hopefully get like a loudspeaker this year, and I'll be walking around the Hamfest with the some Morse code going, and see if anyone wants to try to decode it. So anyways, really cool paddle. This is virtually indestructible. Indestructible. I was actually going to drive over this with my truck, but I didn't want to scratch it. But it's like billet aluminum, and Aaron does some machining. He's got access to some pretty cool stuff, which you should go check him out on Instagram. He's Aaron Makes Keys, and he is doing a lot of really cool stuff. Does some live stuff too. So it's pretty neat. The cool thing about this paddle, I mean, it just looks good. It's solid. It's bulletproof. There are 4 magnets on here, which are super strong magnets, and I've got what I guess you can call a jeweler's block, but this is actually where I've got my quad hands for some electronics work. But this thing solidly locks into that, and it doesn't budge that much. I mean, just a little bit, only because I've got a little bit of a heavy hand, but man, that is serious. It's got a 3.5 millimeter plug into the back, and I've of course got it connected to my keyer, and there you go. So yeah, it looks good. So there's a nice acrylic see-through piece here, which is kind of neat. Whoops. Let me unplug that so I don't get disturbed here. And let me get a little pointing device, which I'll use that as a pointing device. But really neat. If you look inside of this, you'll see that there's you can see all the components in here. There's the jack. There's a switch that you can switch the polarity. So instead of dit and da, you can do dit and da. I guess you can also flip it upside down and do some stuff. But there's a switch in there for some convenience. And if you look in there, there's some Morse code right there. That's an A, N, and a T. And a little known secret, it's not really a secret, I guess, but little known that the name of this used to be called the Ant, the A-N-T. So there's a little bit of a throwback in there from what it used to be called. Now it's called the Nameless V0H. So version 0, I guess maybe subversion H. And kind of a cool thing, my serial number is 9 Charlie 0 Delta 0 Delta. So Department of Defense. No, I'm just kidding. That's actually a 0. But that's an encoded serial number. And he is the only one that has the list of serial numbers and what the actual serial number really is. Well, I guess that's actually the serial number, but you don't know if you have number 1 or number 100. And the other neat thing is, I mean, I think he's made, probably around 200 of these so far, and they're shipping out the door right now, and they're very nice to be able to be used in POTA and especially SOTA for some of the Summit on the Air folks. When you don't want a lot of weight, and this is pretty lightweight, and it's got the finger grips here too that nicely fit like so you can actuate the paddles. The other kind of a cool trivia thing is the curvature for this fits my thumb perfectly, which means it's pretty much the same as Aaron's thumb, the creator of this. He wound up sketching out the radius of his thumb and made his thumb this radius, which ends up turning out to be perfect. So that's what that is. We've got some adjustments. As you can see, there's a little hex screw here, and there's a hex screw there. Looks like that will bring in and out the magnets, because this is magnetically returned. And if you notice, when you press on, I've got it pretty tight, but as you press on these, they basically push this little hex nut against this post here, which is like a hex post, I guess, hex screw. Actually, so this would be a hex screw, and that's a hex screw too, but you can adjust that through this hole to be able to get to this, to be able to adjust it so that you have more actuation or less actuation. So that's pretty cool that you've got that kind of fine-grained adjustments. On some of these smaller keys, you really can't do that. Some of them you can, but I don't see that a lot of times, particularly on some of these, like the Chinese keys. They're a little bit tougher to adjust. You don't have that kind of a freedom of adjustment. But yeah, that's really cool. You can get some custom colors here. I asked for yellow or chartreuse on the inside, on the levers here. So you can do that. And this is all Cerakoted, so ceramic coating. So it's super durable. It's not like it's going to rub off anytime soon, like it's not like a paint or anything like that. And I've got my call sign up here, and Aaron was so cool to put one of my logos on the back here too. So kind of a fun thing. But anyways, really neat. And I'm actually going to do an activation a little bit later today. So look for another video. I'm going to be using this with a Morse Code QRP rig, a Morse Code only QRP rig. It's 5 bands, so keep an eye out for that. But super neat, lightweight. The SOTA folks are going to love this. It's practically indestructible. Everything's metal, with the exception of the see-through glass, which doesn't matter. It's recessed. So the worst thing that'll happen is maybe it'll get scratched or something like that. But I had this in my back pocket for a couple of hours, and I forgot it was even there. But it's really nice, and it's got great feel to it too. I'm so excited I forgot one of the dits in my call sign. So really neat. What else can I tell you about this other than these finger paddles they look like they're stainless, actually. I don't think they are, but they might be. I'll have to ask Aaron. But anyways, all of the hardware is stainless, and it's built to last. It's super high quality. But yeah, give Aaron a shout. He's selling these actively right now. He was in prototype phase for a little while, and these are finally getting a jump start. And the really cool thing about following him on social media is the fact that he does a lot of videos in construction and how he's doing it, and how he's even designing some of this stuff. You can kind of look back on some of the videos that he has and see that, what some of the design elements were, and how he's actually doing some of the cutting and the CNC. I guess that would be CNCing, right? Doing some of the CNC stuff, and I get a real big kick out of that too. But yeah, we've got I think these are ball bearing pivots here, and yeah, that's about it. It's a super cool little CW key, and I'm really excited about doing an activation. So let's go jump on it. There we go. We're going to do some POTA. See you soon. So that's the Nameless CW Paddle, made by Modern Morse, Aaron. And you can get him on modernmorse.com, modernmorse.com. He has, you can do an order if you want, and check out some of what he's got going there. And I also recommend following him on Instagram. He's Aaron Makes Keys. That's Aaron Makes Keys. And he has a lot of really interesting stuff on the fabrication and manufacture of these little guys. So anyways, we're gonna go do an activation, and it's gonna be fun. We'll be using this as well as a brand new to me multi-band QRP rig. So CW on, my friends.